Welcome to the It's Better With You, a Browns fan cast. I would say your host, but I don't necessarily know that I'm that. But I show up more often than most, so thanks everyone for being here. We have, where is Sturmack? We have, what's your name?
No, I'm Caller.
Oh, we have Garrett's ankle. We have Caller. And we have Jimmy, who changed his name.
I liked his name before. I liked his name before he changed it.
See if that will sync it up.
Nope.
A little bit.
A little bit closer.
Maybe not.
Wait, how many? Next here?
Yeah, he's the caller.
He's Caller.
Oh, he's the call. Okay.
We're getting off to a raucous start here, guys. All right, so here we go. Here is our agenda, and we're going to look at the depth chart. That's really the big thing that we're going to do tonight. We have a couple other things lined up. Maybe we'll get our caller's idea in. We'll go over some new updates and any announcements that you guys have, talk a little bit about analytics and Moneyball, and then get set for our next broadcast. So thanks, everyone, for being here. Let's go ahead and get to the first piece of the depth chart, and that is the offense. And what I thought we'd talk about tonight, this is actually, I believe it's slide 3 in the slides. Let's talk about what were some surprises for you guys in the offensive side of the depth chart that was released for the Steelers. I'll give you one from mine, Zach Stirrup. I don't know that I ever heard of this guy. Does anyone know who he is?
No.
He's number 79. He's like a backup right tackle. They must have picked him up when our Roderick Johnson left.
Yeah, I have never heard of that guy, ever. Which is not a surprise considering it's Cleveland. But
do we have any idea how many years he's even been in the league and where he came from? Anything?
You're the stats guy.
Well, one thing that I would add is I was very surprised that they cut John Greco. Number one, he was a mentor to Joel Bitonio. And number two, the guy could play left or right guard. I he wasn't making a ton of money. I couldn't believe that they got rid of Greco. Like, I could understand Joe Hayden, you're not living up to your contract, but Greco, I think he was living up to his contract.
Yeah, I wonder what that would have been if they just wanted to have younger guys in there. And, I mean, it had to be a little bit of money that he was getting.
Greco's not that old. He was making a decent chunk of change, but nothing too much. I mean,
he's 30-something.
Oh, is he? Well, he was making decent money, and he's not starting, so.
Yeah, their backups are Zach Banner, that guy they got from Indianapolis, I believe, Marcus Martin, Austin Ryder, Spencer Drango, and that Zach Stirrup dude.
That's Zach Stirrup, yeah. Never heard of that.
So Spencer Drango, so it looks like they probably picked that Marcus Martin or Spencer Drango over Greco as a backup.
Yeah.
So Zach Stirrup out of Nebraska is 25 years old. He's 6'9", 318 pounds. That's all I got.
6'9" is pretty tall for an OL.
You know what?
A kid.
Anyone concerned that Njoku is the third-string tight end, considering how much fanfare?
No, I'm not.
You're not.
Like, everyone thought that we got rid of Gary Barnidge because of Njoku and Seth DeValve, and look who's number one.
Telfair.
The guy who was injured last year and who they drafted like 2 years ago. So maybe it was more of a decision because of Telfair. He's supposed to be a good blocker, and if he's more than serviceable blocking, then
well, I mean, judging from the receiving core, I think they need receivers, not blockers.
Not if they're committing to Isaiah Crowell and Duke Johnson.
Okay. What is this, 1985? Marty Schottenheimer offense?
Hey, all I know is they blew a bunch of smoke up my ass with this David Njoku thing. I thought he was going to be the greatest tight end since fucking Antonio Gates.
He's got the dropsies. She can't just come in here.
Who has the dropsies?
Njoku.
Oh, he did earlier in camp. I thought he improved though.
I don't know. Seth DeValve is your pass catching tight end, I think, until they can get Njoku along.
DeValve's not bad.
Any other surprises? What were some things that you thought? Well, how do you think our wide receiver list looks?
It's terrible.
It looks like shit.
It looks, it's garbage. It's dog shit.
I mean, if you want to say terrible, I guess it's terrible. I would have said looks like shit myself.
I think one of the NFL sites had the Browns ranked as the 31st ranked wide receiving core. There was only one worse than us.
Who is it? Do we play them this year at least? I hope the Jets.
The Jets or somebody, but
yeah. Great.
Someone had us ranked 28th overall.
Who?
I don't know. I think it was CBS Sports.
I forget the website, but they had us ranked almost that last.
Matt Days is the third running back. Are we going to see him? Or is he going to be playing special teams?
You know what? That guy's not bad.
I'm more surprised that Reggie Davis is listed as the third wide receiver.
Who is walking into a fan?
I don't know what that is.
What?
I have no idea what that noise is.
It's probably
Who is Reggie Davis?
Are they really going to carry 4 quarterbacks?
That was my next question.
What?
Josh?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And if you're carrying 4 quarterbacks, and you've already paid $16 million for Josh Osweiler, why not keep him? I guess you got a draft pick for him for a trade from Denver.
Somebody's going to the practice squad. We know that, but who?
He's going to be the third-string quarterback.
You think? I wonder which of our two they'll get rid of if they decide to keep Woodrum. I wonder if they'll get rid of Hogan or Kessler.
I would get rid of Kessler.
I think Kessler's just a pile of hot garbage.
He really looked like it this year.
I don't know what happened.
He was like dink and dunk, and we thought, well, he's accurate.
He's little, and he doesn't have an arm. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're not good enough.
You said that all last year.
I did.
Said that about Kessler, like, since he was drafted.
Right, and I was attacked for it.
He said that in the very first Fancast that we had, too.
He did?
Yes, he did.
He said it was
I
a bum.
remember that. And then
we'll see.
His audio went out and he was gone. That was the only thing he said that stuck with me.
So he might be gone. All right. Yeah. Let's look at the D. Let's look at the D. Or any other offensive notes that you guys are going to be looking at this year as far as development or that stand out.
Offensive note, Corey Coleman has got to emerge. He balled out in game 3 of the preseason, diving for balls, did great. The latest acquisition from Pittsburgh, the guy's fast as lightning, but he doesn't know the offense. And I didn't keep him in my fantasy draft this year for the first year in like 3 years. What? Everybody, let's light a blunt, smoke up, and discuss. What if Josh Gordon gets reinstated?
We don't talk about him anymore because it's just a waste of airtime.
I'm ready for him, baby.
He's not coming back. He's not going to get reinstated. And if he would have,
we talk about the guys that are here.
Yeah, if he would have been reinstated, it would have happened by now. He ain't.
Well, we'll talk. We'll talk about this in our October 2nd episode.
No, there's no reason to talk about guys that aren't on the team.
Well, now we're wasting time.
Goodell has a decision. Goodell has a decision by the end of September. If he's there, we'll bring it up. Let's look at the defense. Surprises. For me, it was our defensive line. Right now, I mean, Danny Shelton's injured, obviously, but Trevin Coley, I think, has to be one of the bigger surprises, not only on the roster, but listed first ahead of Caleb Brantley. And they got rid of Desmond Bryant because of it.
I don't know, how old was Desmond Bryant? Did he just?
I think he was 31.
I think I heard a stat yesterday. The Browns by far the youngest team in the league. So he was 7 years older than I think our oldest player, or something ridiculous by average.
Yeah.
So they're trimming the fat. If you can't play, these young guys are hungry. They're gonna take your spot.
As far as defense goes, I was scared to death when Myles Garrett did not finish practice today because of an ankle injury.
Right.
That is scary.
Well,
that's a
pretty.
And his history is not great.
Then the worst part about it is it's the other ankle from the one that he was injured all the time. So has he got? What's this guy got? Glass ankles? What's going on? He's already listed as probably. I think they're going to do an MRI. They said he might miss weeks, not the first week, weeks. So we'll see. Because that's who's behind him in the depth chart, Nate Orchard on that side. Those are two defensive ends. Well, all right, then.
Nate Orchard flashed a little bit in preseason, game 1 or 2. He made the team.
Let's see. Your boy Trevin Cooley.
Garrett, I would say, is the key to the whole defense this season.
Yeah,
and Jamie Collins.
Sure.
Jamie Collins and Christian Kirksey holding it down. But
those two guys.
Having an edge rusher was.
Those are your impact players.
I don't think you can just walk around during a Fancast.
I can do whatever the fuck I want. This is America. And I'm at home. You can kiss my white belt beanbag for all I care.
Plus, you're wearing an Indian shirt to a Browns Fancast.
Hey, 14 in a row.
They only have 4 cornerbacks. Does anyone care? And none of them is named Joe Hayden.
I like that.
Yeah?
I might be the only one that likes that fucking bum is gone.
Yeah, I don't like that move.
You knew he was going to sign with the Steelers, man.
I would too if I was him.
I do like the move. I love it.
You love the saving money to help offset the Brock Osweiler pick?
Let me tell you why I don't like the move. Because you're telling me that he's not one of the top 3 corners on the team?
I'm not saying he's not one of the top 3 corners.
I know if talent-wise he's one of the top 3 or 4 guys on the team.
I'm not going to argue that point with you. Is he one of the top 3? But it sends a message to the team. If you are not living up to your contract of $11 million a year, you are freaking gone. Goodbye, adios. And what it all does is make the younger guys hungrier. I understand that probably most of them in the 4th preseason game against Chicago aren't going to make the team. But boy, oh boy, was that defense. They were just flying around, reckless abandonment. They were just laying hits. It sends a message to the locker room. If you are not living up to your contract, you're gone. Goodbye. There is no more, Mike Pettin, hey, everything's laissez-faire. The Walrus, hey, everything's good. I can show up at 10 o'clock in the morning at my office.
Okay,
no,
well, then that's fine.
You're getting your butt kicked.
They gave him that contract 2 years ago after he made the Pro Bowl. He didn't ask for it. They gave it to him.
I understand that. He's not lived up to it.
Concussions and some unfortunate injuries.
I don't think he's going to come back. I don't think he's ever going to come back the same.
You're just going to.
Will Hayden finish with better stats on the Steelers? With better stats than either Jason McCourty or Jamar Taylor.
It also sends the message that there is no loyalty, that this is a business, which we all know. But that does rub some players the wrong way.
I think it did. I think that and the Greco move did rub some players.
You can say it's good for the locker room in some respects, but it's bad for the locker room in other respects. A guy like that does so much for the community and has been a great player for the Browns, with sans the last couple seasons, but is still fairly young. You ask him to take a pay cut, he says no, and then you just cut him. I mean, I don't know. I don't think
they
it's
gave
all
him an option.
They're in a player in the NFL to take that option.
He's not going to take the pay cut. You gave him the contract.
Yeah, if you
all right, let's move on.
You can't negotiate it on the fly. I mean,
no, but Jim, they didn't give him the current Browns regime did not give him the contract.
Okay,
the previous regime gave him the contract.
Yeah, I get that. I get that part of it, but from his point of view, look, I mean,
new coaches and front offices like their guys.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm sure they waited in, but listen, I like the thought that like his salary, Greco's salary, and a couple other people they cut equals about $15 million.
Which equals Osweiler.
Which
they have to eat, basically.
So they said, we'll get rid of these guys then. We'll keep our guys.
Yeah, I've heard that argument
so
made.
They have 4 cornerbacks. They have 4 safeties. Hugh Jackson said today that the reason that those are the cornerback is lesser numbers than normal is because some of the people in the safety position will be set up so that they can cover.
It's going to be interesting to see what kind of schemes they're going to run with their DBs. I mean, I can't even imagine what he's got in his brain.
Is Calvin Pryor, the pickup that we got from the Jets for Demario Davis, going to do anything?
He's going to have to.
First-round pick?
You're going to have to, or he's going to get cut just like everybody else.
He better. He better do something.
Our linebacking core consists of Christian Kirksey, Joe Schobert, Jamie Collins, Dominique Alexander, and James Burgess Jr. Is anyone nervous?
I'm nervous about the last 2 guys you mentioned, but I definitely like Kirksey and Collins and Schobert. From what I've seen of Schobert this preseason, I do like those top 3. Those other 2 guys, I couldn't tell you anything about them.
Yeah, from what I've seen of them in the fourth quarter. But Schobert's been all over the field.
Yeah, he's been much improved.
Nice. Well, let's look at special teams. The next slide. We got Britton Colquitt as our punter. Yippee. Zane Gonzalez won the kicking job. What do you guys think about our 7th-round pick or 6th-round pick? He missed an extra point the last game. Do we care?
Everyone's going to miss extra points.
I don't like Parkey, so whatever. Gonzalez is okay with me.
Parkey went straight back to Miami.
That a-hole. He missed that. He missed the kicks against Miami last year.
Right. That was his first game, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That was the game winner that he missed.
Is Caller still here?
Caller is still here.
Britton Colquitt. Jabril Peppers. How's he going to do? He looked pretty good on returns.
I'm kind of excited to see what they're going to do on special teams this year. Used to just be watching for fair catches all the time and hoping they didn't drop it. Now I'm kind of encouraged to see some returns out of him.
Yeah, and it looks like Sammy Coates can do some kick returning too. So
didn't we? Did we trade our punter because he didn't try to tackle a guy in the preseason? Right?
I don't know if that's
John. Didn't we trade our punter last year because
I don't know if it's verified that that's why, but I believe there was speculation.
Last year, that's why he was gone.
Who was that? We traded him to the Panthers, right?
He was like the best punter in the NFL as far as like net average, and they traded him because he didn't try to tackle the guy on that return.
None of that bullshit.
Jim, you're 100% correct because he just gave up on the play.
He did. Okay. All right. Then they got Colquitt, who's pretty damn good, so I guess it's no big deal.
All right, guys. So the next slide, and we've already addressed so that's the depth chart. Good job going through the depth chart. Next slide is Myles Garrett injury, season predictions, and Moneyball and analytics. So we did the Garrett injury already. Season predictions. Let's do those.
16 games.
How many of them are we going to
win? How many are we going to win? I'm going to give us a conservative 4 or 5.
4-12.
I was going to go with 5-11.
So we got 2 4-12s, a 5-11, and John, are you the eternal optimist, or are you
going to be an asshole?
Unfortunately, I cannot go above or below the mean. 4-12.
Oh boy, it's going to be a fun season, guys.
Better than 1-15.
So 4-12 will show improvement. Will they keep everything intact?
It depends on what those 12 are like.
Right.
I mean, if they're in games and they lose them in overtime or 2-minute drilled last second drives or something like that, that's one thing. But if they're just getting blown out 35-7, and some of these losses are embarrassing.
And I think at the end of the season, especially in the second half, you have to show legitimate improvement.
Yeah.
You can't have another one of these Decembers where you lose every fucking game and there's nobody in the stands and it just can't have it.
Yeah. Does get Garrett's gone and we don't have Shelton for the first game. So
you're probably going to go 0-4 in the first 4 games.
Regardless of whether or not we had those two guys?
Yeah. Well, without those two, it definitely increases your chances of losing all 4.
Anyone know when we get Shelton back?
Are they saying he's week to week or he's day to day?
Hey, are you talking about Myles Garrett?
Danny Shelton.
Oh, Shelton.
Does anyone know when he's slated to come back? I thought it was 3 weeks, but I didn't know if it was at the season opener or after.
Heard 2 to 3, like a couple of days ago. Somebody said 2 to 3 more games.
2 to 3 more games, maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Don't we? How's our season start? We got Pittsburgh, Baltimore. We have 3 division games in the first 4 weeks. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, they play Cincy too, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, and I'm kind of banking.
One of those teams,
I'm
one of our
hoping
teams in the North has to take a slide.
Well, yeah, but I don't think you're going to get much out of Kaiser in the first few weeks, at least. So you're going to have to rely on the defense and running game.
Defense hasn't given up a touchdown yet. 4 preseason games, the only team not to give up a touchdown.
Preseason.
It's all right. First, second, and third stringers. Not one of them gave up a touchdown.
All right. Oh, for God's sake. No dogs during the Fancast.
Dubs is excited for the season.
And one of our guys just gets up whenever he wants and leaves. Moneyball and analytics.
I think he just kicked the wall.
What do we think about DePodesta? Is he having an impact on our decision making, and is it positive or negative, or won't we know until later?
He just got up and got some crackers.
And now his mouth's full, so he's not going to be able to answer. Probably didn't hear the question.
I heard it.
Well, I mean, there's only one way to answer that question. You have to ask us in week 12. You just see if this team is making any improvement throughout the season. If it looks like the same team as last year, then no, it doesn't. Everything he's done is just shit.
What about the fact that we have basically 2 drafts next year? We have enough picks for 2 drafts.
That's all fine and great, but what does that mean if you don't pick players that can actually produce on the field?
It doesn't mean anything if you pick the wrong players.
He changed his name again.
Could they have done more this year?
I'm not a fan. I never have been a fan. You know that.
I mean, it's the second year in the rebuild. Could they have done more? Is what they did. We just have to see.
Well, I've seen Moneyball. I've read Moneyball. It's an awesome book. I think it's great for baseball because baseball is perfect for that type of. I just think there's too many other things to grade and to look at in a football player that you can't build a team using that. philosophy. I don't.
Can you use it? So my question is, I don't know, right? And I think that's what we'll have to learn later. Is analytics is really just a tool for deeper decision making. The question is, can you use that approach of taking analytics and apply it to a different game?
I think
it's not going to look like the Moneyball for baseball. It's going to.
I know they've been using analytics in football and basketball and other sports for years, but they literally brought the guy over who was an integral part of the Oakland A's Moneyball scheme.
Mm-hmm.
To I still don't even know what the guy does. Does anyone know what his title is?
I think he's the director of strategy, something like that.
Director of strategy.
All right, and who?
That's a thing, guys.
Is Sashi Brown the general manager?
He's he's not the technical general manager, but he's basically assumes those.
Okay, duties. I mean he's a lawyer, right? I mean, he doesn't have any football experience.
The football guy's Andrew Barry.
Andrew Barry has some knowledge. I'll give him that.
I was going to say, so if this all goes south, Andrew Barry's the one that's on the chopping block because he's the only football guy in the group.
Probably, and you.
Well,
and what's his name? The defensive coordinator. I think they gave them some leeway this year.
Well, that's why I'm saying some of these questions won't be answered until week 12, 14, right. Somewhere around there.
So as we close to our last slide.
True.
I got 4 things. I don't know if you can see the slide. I have, and these are things that you see at the fan experience when you're at the Cleveland Browns game. So.
Oh, I can't wait to see this shit.
So fuck analytics. You might have a little bit of a different take on this. But what I'd like is I'm going to name these 4 things for the fan experience at the stadium, and I want our analysts that are on the call right now to rank them from your favorite to your least favorite. So the first one is Swagger, everybody's favorite bull mastiff, who, when they score, they bring Swagger, they trot him down the end zone on the in the dog pound side, and they run him down to the other.
We've all seen it, John. We've seen what they do. Thanks for the play-by-play.
The next thing is the drum line, which they go into the Muni line, and then they play in the end zone, and then sometimes they're on the side, and they play these drums, and they got a cymbal player. There's a female in there that everyone seems to really
pretty much told us what it was when you said drum line. You don't have to elaborate.
The next thing are the entrance pyrotechnics, so how the fire comes out of the helmet when they do the player introductions. And the
they should push 2 dumpsters out there and light those on fire instead.
Oh my God. And the last one are the dog pound introductions when they take a old Browns player and they put him up in the dog pound, and they introduce him, and he holds out a bone, and everyone hoots. So, Swagger, drumline, pyrotechnics, dog pound introductions.
What do you want?
Spalding loves Manziel. Would you like to go first?
I'll tell you what, the one thing that I do appreciate about the Browns games is the introduction of the older players behind us in the dog pound. That's cool. The rest of that shit, you can take that out in the parking lot.
So, dog pound introductions for you would be 1, and then all the other ones would be 4, A, B, and C. Is that correct?
Can I give them a lower number? I mean, I don't need flames coming out of helmets, and I don't need dogs taking a shit on the field. I don't need a bunch of people playing the drums and all that. I've seen that in other stadiums. It's great. Almost every stadium that I've had the privilege of going to, the Packers game, Panthers game, they all had the same. They had a drum line. They all did. And I'm sure they had it for years and years and years. And then the Browns said, oh, wow, that seems cool. We'll do that. How about winning the fucking game? How about doing that? How about scoring a touchdown? You run that dog all over the stadium if you can score more than 1 touchdown a game. I don't give a shit.
You seem upset.
I hate those things. You know I hate those things. You put those up there just so you could poke at me. Because you sit right next to me and you know exactly what I say every single time this shit happens.
Swagger!
Yeah, great.
Jimmy, fuck analytics.
Yeah, Swagger is terrible.
What? You guys are haters.
Terrible. It's stupid. This is professional football. And you have a dog that's not even your mascot. I don't even know what it's supposed to do. The name is stupid.
Well, it looks like the dogs is the.
It's dumb. The drum line is stupid.
That's the kind of shit you do at the Gladiators game.
So you're not ranking. So you're not ranking them. You're just going through each one.
I actually do. I like the fire out of the helmets and stuff. I actually do like that. It's like the most exciting thing that you have on Sunday is that, and then it's all downhill from there. So, the dog pound introduction is fine too, but the other two are garbage.
Caller,
I'm just waiting
you still
for
here?
one.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm waiting for one time when they do player introductions that it's somebody actually worth cheering for that comes out last besides Joe Thomas. They introduce the offense. Joe Thomas is last every time. The place goes nuts. We go 3 and out. He's off the field.
He's earned it.
He has earned that. But can we get some other premier player on this team that could be last, that everybody could rally around and be excited that he's actually a Cleveland Brown?
You can bring Swagger out.
And caller, check your mute. We can't hear you, but it shows me that you're talking.
No, I'm just being quiet.
Oh. Would you like to rank your 4 before I rank mine?
Caller goes last.
Great. My 4 go like this.
No.
Are you ready?
We should have just kept talking about Josh fucking Gordon.
Obviously, Swagger, for alternative reasons, is my number 1. I love that dog. He's so cute. And I look forward to seeing him this Sunday a couple times. Second is the dog pound introductions. I think that's really cool. I like that they do that. Third is the pyrotechnics. And then fourth is the dumbest thing ever, the drum line that should not exist at Cleveland Brown Stadium. And my blood boils every time that I see a stick heading towards a snare.
Right. Fair enough.
Caller.
All right, caller.
Swagger!
I actually love Swagger, except this is why I can't rank Swagger number 1. I get more excitement out of, and we've all been to Browns games, when the squirrel is going to score a touchdown. We get more excited about that because we know that's going to be the only touchdown ever. So seeing Swagger run east to west, or technically north to south, from the lake to the center of the city, I don't care. But the squirrel that gets randomly on the field and scores a touchdown, I love it. So I cannot put Swagger number 1.
I'm sure you're reading the list. I didn't notice the squirrel on the list.
How did this become part of the Fancast, John?
Because I'm the caller and I can say whatever I want.
Not you. I'm talking to Spalding. He brought this shit up.
I just thought it would be a nice little addition.
I will say the one thing that drives me absolutely nuts is Brandon Whedon getting caught underneath the flag.
Like, where is this shit coming from?
All right, someone's railroading the end of the show. You don't even have your list
ready.
I'm
not a participant. I'm a caller.
You don't even have your list ready. All right, guys. So that's it. Next episode is going to be Wednesday. We come in the room here about 7. I usually get the technology set up around 7:15, 7:20. Then we go live until we don't have anything else to talk about. We've reached that point tonight, but I would like to thank...
6 minutes ago.
I would like to thank... I would like to thank Caller, Fuck Swagger, and Swagger is a Bitch for being here tonight. Everybody changed their names toward the end. So thanks, guys, for coming in. We will do this next Wednesday, and hope that all of you will join us. Oh, on that note, we're out. Shut up, dog!
Shut up, Dubs!
Dubs is excited about this stuff. Oh my God! Is it just you and I?
Probably.
Yeah, I don't see anybody else on the screen anymore. It does say we're recording now.
Oh yeah, it's still. I gotta stop that. But... my...
Dubs is staring me
the
down.
Dibbers.
What's up, buddy? What do you think the Browns are going to do this year? I think he just took a poop on the couch.
You tooted.
Why? You got to try to get, if you're going to get Sturmack in on, is he still on?
No, he's not.
Does the kid not have
camera?
a laptop with a
I don't
camera?
know.
I mean, it's 2017.
I think he doesn't. I think he'd just rather not. Teachers are weird about that kind of stuff.
Well, you got to try to get him after he hasn't been to Leno's. And half of what he said was just nonsensical.
So get him after.